Joining me, Fireteam Chat's Destin Legary, CJ Gibson. I'm going to get a little bit hyperbolic with it and ask you guys the question that I think is on a lot of people's mind and has been for some time. Is Destiny 2 dead? It's not a subscription-based game, so what is the metric we use to define the game's health? Destin, I'm going to pass it to you first.
Yeah, so this is a question that is asked constantly by the community, and they seem to be reinforcing that nobody plays this game, and it's simply not true. As much as I want to say, like, Destiny's over, I mean, that would be a great headline, right? It's inaccurate.
It would be a great headline.
Yeah.
Just imagine.
Never seen it.
But it's inaccurate because there is an active community. I mean, if you hop on LFG right now, there's a big group of people looking to run activities to prep for the Warmind raid layer and such. And that happens every expansion. You see ebb and flow with the community, and that happened in Destiny 1. So I don't think anything different is happening right now.
CJ, anything to add?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is now you see people measuring it against Twitch success. So you have games like PUBG and Fortnite coming in, and Fortnite is making a big splash, like recently just pairing with Avengers and the Drake situation. When you look at the numbers that that's generating, it feels dead in comparison. But yeah, Destiny's very much alive. But yeah, there's some things that have entered into the scene that are taking its place.
Now let me rephrase your question and say this. Destiny is struggling. The player base is lower than it was with Destiny 1, and players do not seem to be having as much fun. There's a lot of feedback being directed at Bungie, a lot of issues with lore, the grind aspect, and the rewards currently offered with the game. So I will say that.
Sure, and let's get into the specifics of the Warmind DLC, because I think this is the writing on the wall until fall or potentially after, when we get the next Taken King style expansion or level of content and fidelity that is associated. And number one, that's kind of a weird designation, because externally, like, we as Destiny hardcore players understand that, oh, this is a small expansion, these are to tide you over, and then there's going to be this big Taken King style expansion. But I think externally, people are looking at this as like, this is an expansion, and this is an expansion, and I don't understand why this one has 4 hours of content, and this one's going to have, 50, 100 plus. So the things we are getting with Warmind, a new raid, as well
raid
as
layer.
Raid layer. Yes.
There's a difference. A raid layer is a shorter experience than a full raid.
Yeah.
2 new strikes, 1 exclusive to the PlayStation. Mars, the new zone, which we've found to be a lot of reused content, which I don't think is a terrible thing. The campaign, what was your impression of the campaign, Destin?
It was short, but I actually enjoyed the campaign. I liked learning about a new character, Ana Bray. Some of the community is seeing that there's some problems overall with the lore, and they are expecting more from Bungie. So on the one side, you have the hardcore enthusiasts that are like, hey, you're not doing the lore justice. Then you have people that just want more story, and they're like, 2 hours? Are you kidding me?
Sure.
What am I paying $20 bucks for? Ducks.
Sure.
Yeah.
You could use
I wish
ducks.
the game cost CJ, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was not too bad. I do hear the lore, situation as well too. I think the biggest thing is, Sean and I were talking about this before. What are you getting? When you have an experience like Taken King that was as big as it was at the time, your brain wants that every single time. Now, I don't think that that's actually possible. When you talk about quarter releases, there's no way that that's going to be a thing that they're able to do and sustain. So.
Yeah, this is, to bring up World of Warcraft, my old staple, this is something that World of Warcraft struggled for a long time, an annualized expansion, and it led to a lot of very unhealthy droughts of content. Warlords of Draenor was the last time we saw them commit to, we need an expansion out every year, failing to hit that benchmark, and as a result, having front-loaded all the work on this new expansion, forgetting about the current game and its current state. And I do feel like, while the game isn't dead, Destiny 2, everybody's playing it right now because we just got this Warmind DLC, it is this ebb and flow of concurrent player base jumping back in. I think the thing that frustrates me the most is not necessarily the fidelity or the quality or the amount of content, but rather some of these simple design decisions that they are failing to recognize they need to make. A great example would be how obtuse and incomprehensible the light level progression system is. Destin, can you tell me what light level is, why it's kind of all over the place, this expansion, what the deal is with that?
Yeah, in Destiny 2, they changed it to be power level, actually, to just correct you briefly. And there's some confusing stuff going on with the Warmind expansion. They've kind of changed how it normally goes. Normally people hoard exotic engrams and then cash them in for like a big boost, and that's not working anymore. That's kind of a good thing. But there are heroic strikes, for example. You can go into those at 340. They're recommended 350 light, and you're dropped. Yeah, they're difficult. We did one together, and your reward is a 335 engram, and I'm like, wait, I'm doing a 350 encounter, I'm at 340, I need that light level boost, and I'm getting 335 rewards? That simply doesn't make sense.
And I think that there are reasons that are kind of tangential and a little bit inside baseball that, based upon the stratification of DLC and having to cater to this player who hasn't bought this expansion, but that is really just not in the concern of the average player or even the hardcore player. When I challenge myself and I do content that is challenging. I feel like I've risen to the occasion and beat it. I expect something for that is better than having not done it at all. There is some stuff that I think we all like. Destin, what are some positive takeaways from the Warmind for you?
So for Warmind, it's really great to get a little bit more lore, to have new secrets to chase, and that is one of the best aspects that Warmind has brought. It showed that they're listening to the community, but more importantly, it's actually about the Season 3 changes. They've made exotics more interesting. They feel like exotics. There is new strike-specific loot that you can acquire if you manage to get that drop, and that's actually enticing to the player base. In that respect, it does feel a little bit more like classic Destiny, and exotics feeling powerful is just a no-brainer, and the fact that it took this long to get there does show they're remembering what their game was about, but why did it take this long?
It's troubling, especially in the context of the sequel, I think. CJ, what are some positive takeaways for you?
Yeah, for me, I mean, overall, I like that they've added ranking to Crucible with Valor and Glory, and that there's a weapon to grind for in PvP now as well. They've kind of shied away from making competitive PvP, and again, I think it's one of those inclusive things. They don't want people having negative experience, which is, you have two problems. You want to have a competitive shooter where you can brag, hey, remember when I beat you? Yeah, you do. And then at the same time, have it feel not as hardcore so you don't scare people away.
When we talk about expansions like this that re-engage the player base, bring the game back to life temporarily, the expectation to see forward progress in terms of the secondary systems that keep the game going, I think the expectation is high. And the perception for me as a player who hasn't really been playing since Curse of Osiris came out was, hey, they're redoing how drops work, exotics, the Vault. There are all these systems that I was frustrated with that are now fixed, and I come back in and I realize not a lot of them are fixed, but what I will say, one thing that I absolutely love, you go to Shaxx, you go to Zavala, they have reputation ranks, and there are exclusive things that previously would have been only obtainable through the Eververse. So the Zavala ship, Shaxx's awesome Ghost Shell, I really like the exclusive guns, so I think they are making progress in the right direction. I also think the content's pretty good. I think that strike, Strange Terrain it's called, is one of my favorites. That boss fight
well done.
is fantastic.
The new mechanics, yeah.